Change doesn't start in back rooms. It starts when people have had enough. That's what Robert Reich calls the Mamdani moment. Zohran Mamdani, a young, working-class Democrat from Queens, did something extraordinary this past June. He beat Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of New York, in the Democratic mayoral primary, a political earthquake that no one in the establishment saw coming. I did, but not those stuck in the past. He ran on one simple truth. Ordinary people are working harder than ever and still falling behind. Rent, groceries, healthcare, housing, everything's gone up except wages. And instead of conceding, Cuomo refused to bow out. He's now running as an independent on a vanity line called Fight and Deliver. That's not resilience, that's ego. And it's kind of sad, really. The same old playbook. Power clinging to itself long after the people have moved on. Because this time, the people have. Just this past weekend, Mamdani held a massive rally in Forest Hills, and the crowd was electric. AOC and Bernie Sanders were there, standing beside him. I wasn't there, just watching it, but you could feel it. The energy, the sense that something real is shifting. Not the consultant-crafted, donor-approved version of hope, but the kind that comes from action, not slogans. From tenants, teachers, workers, and students who are done waiting for permission to demand change. Meanwhile, the establishment is panicking. For weeks after the primary, the Democratic establishment treated Mamdani like an inconvenience, a problem they hoped would go away if they just ignored it. The big money crowd turned their backs, the fundraisers dried up overnight, city officials stopped returning calls. Major party leaders, the ones who should have been uniting behind their own nominee, went silent. Why? Because he didn't climb the ladder they built. Because he owes his rise to voters, not to lobbyists. Because he's the living proof that the machine can be beaten. It wasn't until this month that Hakeem Jeffries, the House Democratic leader and one of the most powerful figures in New York politics, finally endorsed him. And even then, he couldn't do it without a disclaimer saying they still had principled disagreements. Translation, the party's elites still don't trust their own voters. They're terrified that someone like Mamdani, young, unapologetically progressive, funded by small donors and powered by working people, might actually win without them. And if he does, it will expose just how irrelevant their entire machine has become. Robert Reich, the former U.S. Labor Secretary and longtime economic truth-teller, has been warning about this for years. He says the corporate Democratic Party is bankrupt, not just financially, but morally. They talk about empathy while taking money from lobbyists. They say they're the party of working people, but they haven't delivered for them in decades. That's why Reich said, and I'm quoting him here, "This is the one thing I agree with Donald Trump about. The economy is rigged, but it's rigged against working class people." And that's it. This isn't left versus right. It's top versus bottom, power versus people, those who profit off the system and those who are crushed by it. We've been here before. In the 1930s, as the country buckled under the Great Depression, another Democratic Party faced the same crossroads. Would it cling to its donors or fight for its people? FDR made his choice. He taxed the wealthy, broke up monopolies, empowered unions, and built programs that gave ordinary Americans a fighting chance. He saved democracy by trusting the people it was built for. Reich says this is another 1930s moment, another turning point, because right now the Democratic Party isn't leading a movement, it's losing one. It's on life support. And if it can't remember who it was built to serve, it won't survive. But Mamdani's movement, what's happening in Queens, what we just saw in Forest Hills, that's the antidote. That's the New Deal spirit reborn. It's proof that working people are ready to take back a party that's forgotten them and a democracy that's been sold off piece by piece by the people who were supposed to protect it. FDR once said the test of our progress isn't whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much, but whether we provide enough for those who have too little. That's the test again today, and this time, the people aren't waiting for permission. Good luck, Zoran. We're rooting for you. If you value this kind of truth-telling and want to help me keep doing it, there's a tip jar in my bio. History doesn't repeat itself. People do. The question is whether we'll make the same mistakes or build something better. I'll take the latter, please.